Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a, in my opinion, pretty exciting update for my Pandos eyeshadows for you. And as I'm sure you guys all know, this project was once a good few years ago at this point, started by Alexi, who is always linked down below. Sadly enough, she's not posting as much anymore, or she's really not posting at all anymore at the moment. She's got a lot of other things to take care of, owning horses and those type of things. But I am working on this as I'm working on 5 eyeshadows at a time that I'm randomly rolling in. And one is from a focus palette this year. It's something new that I'm doing this year, so I can make some proper progress on one palette specifically. So let's jump right in, starting with the one that has been in here the longest. This rolled in at the start. This is the NYX Strike A Pose palette, which also is my focus palette. And then here I was working on the purple shade, and this is where we are on that one right now. I don't know if you can see from here, but of course I will show you a close-up. I did hit pan on this one, and I did do that in 20 uses. I used it 7 times over the last month to get this done. I felt like I was really close. I was expecting it to happen sooner than it did actually, but what I'm trying to do with this project is focus in on one shade specifically that I'm really trying to hit pan on for that month. And this time that was the NYX purple shade, or NYX. And I did 7 uses and then I was done. So I tried to make sure that I used that a good few times to make sure I definitely hit pan on it and not have to try and still scramble for that towards the end of this month. So I did that, I think 2 weeks ago or something. So one rolling out, one new one rolling in, that is going to be from the same palette, because like I said, this is my focus palette. Then we had the LA Colors palette, which has also been in here since the start, but I didn't work on straight away because I still had a green in my Panda palette and another green in here. I did not make good decisions there, but anyway, I am working on the second shade in here, which is this green shade, and at the moment I am trying to make sure that I at least get my 5 uses in every month, which I did again this month, which means 11 uses in total. And there is the tiniest bit of a dip starting to form in here, but we're definitely not close yet, which is a bit of a shame. But I did use up one of these palettes, not with the same colors of course, in a Panda palette, so I know that this is not like a hit pan in 10 uses type of shade, but it shouldn't take too long either. So my guess is that this is still going to be in here for 3 months or so, unless I'm really going to focus in on it. But yeah, let's see. That is that one. 5 uses done, and I'm realizing I'm forgetting my swatches, so let's do swatches first as well. The purple shade we're gonna put on my wrist because it's gonna go. That is that purple shade. I have used that both on my lids a little bit, but I've used it more as a crease shade because I don't really like it on my lid too much. It doesn't have the payoff, and it's an older palette, so the shade just kind of, when I put it on, it was kind of there, but more throughout the day it just disappeared a little bit, which is a bit of a shame, of course, not what we want to happen. And then the green shade is this one right here. It's clearly a green, but it's a slightly more blue tone than I would like a green to be. It's not completely my type of green, but I do like greens either way, so we are making it work. Then big palettes. This is the Manly palettes, 120 pans in here, and my plastic is flying. I'm working on the dark blue shade right here, which I'm definitely starting to get a dip in. I'm guessing this one is the one that at the moment is the closest to having pan, so this might be my focus shade for next month, which I'm looking forward to rolling this out, but at the same time I'm not looking forward to having that as a focus shade per se. It's like a blue, not a dark blue, definitely not a light blue, also not a true blue. It's darker than a true blue, but yeah, that is that one. And I'm using that a lot in my outer corner, either when I'm wearing purples or greens or something that I can combine it with. Oftentimes with a slightly warmer shade in my crease to make sure that it doesn't become too cool toned of a look, because I do like my warm toned look. So yeah, that is that one. I have used this one another 5 times over the last month, bringing me to a total of 20 uses. Also, this one has been in since the start of the year. Yeah, so let's see if maybe we can roll this out next month. That would be great. Then this one I rolled in 2 months ago, the 88 palette. In here I'm working on a, oh, I'm trying to open it from the wrong side, a pinkish shade. Let's see if it wants to open. And that is this shade right here that I'm working on for this palette. It's a like relatively easy shade to use. It's just like a really light pink. It would work as an inner corner highlight, but I've got my pigment that I'm working on there. So I'm not really using this as an inner corner, but I'm mainly using this on the inner part of my lid together with whatever shade I'm throwing in on the outside. It could be my blue from the Panda palette, could be even the green from this project, could actually be the blue from this project. Just anything just to lighten up the inner part and make it all blend together nicely. So that's what I've been doing with that one mostly. It's just a really light pinkish shade, as you can see. And then lastly, last time I rolled in a shade from this W7 palette, which wasn't an easy feat because a good few in here are somewhat resembling Panda palette shades or other things. And well, that's actually not fully true, but I think I initially rolled in this grayish shade and I already have a dark gray in my Panda palette, so that wasn't gonna work. But I did in the end end up with this shade right here, which I rolled in last month, and I have now used 6 times. One more time than needed, but I like this type of shade. It's like a warm tone, purplish, reddish something, which is always nice. I don't think I told you guys how many times I used the pink shade. The pink shade I used 6 times over the last month as well, for a total of 11. But this one 6 times since I rolled it in. We've got a bit of disturbance in the pan right now. Like you can see that I've used it. I wouldn't call it a dip just yet, but it's a nice like brownish purple reddish shade, maybe somewhat similar to my like aubergine type shade in my Panda palette. Probably did not think that through properly either, but like I'm focusing more on the gray in my Panda palette at the moment, so it's fine to focus on this one right now and then hopefully get to my other Panda palette dark shade at some point too. So this is the palette that we still have, and because I am rolling out the purple shade, which already faded away just from like my sleeve touching it a little bit. Can you see the difference there? It's not really staying on very nicely. But yeah, those 4 shades are still in. Now let's talk some numbers quickly, grabbing my laptop. Oh, but before we're starting to talk numbers, actually, I need to talk some bonus pans, which I'm not used to doing in this palette, but in this project I should say, but I want to start sharing these with you guys. So first one, spoiler for my deck of panning, so if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you click here, I think, and watch that first. Oh, wait a sec, click there. Okay, I did hit pan on the orangey shade in my Sleek Jewels palette, which I'm very excited about. It only took me 7 uses to hit pan on it. I had already used it in okay amount before, so not a huge surprise. It's a bit like crumbly, flaky I should say as well, so it moves a little bit quicker, but that is one additional pan next to that purple shade. And I also hit pan in my Sleek Storm palette because I moved to a shade in here for my brows because I finished off the shade in my Naked palette. So I have also hit pan in this shade right here, which is 3 pans this month, so that is pretty exciting. And like I said, I did finish off a shade as well, so that also affects my numbers, of course, because there is 1 less shade in my collection, which also changes up the percentages a little bit. So, numbers. For April, we have 56 eyeshadows with pan, 491 eyeshadows in total in my collection, and that brings me to a pan percentage of 11.4 at the moment. And I do at the moment still have 5 other eyeshadows in projects, so that brings me to technically a total of 430 eyeshadows that I can still pick from. But today is different because, of course, like I said, this is my focus palette. I did hit pan on the shade in my focus palette, so we're gonna roll a shade from here. And I really only have 3 shades left. I'm not gonna do the black for now because I'm still working on another black. So I've got the green, this shade, and the red shade. Like this is a like goldish brown, I guess. So I'm gonna take my Pretty Random app, and I've set this one 1 to 3, and then just to make sure that we're all on the same page, we're going left to right for me. 1, 2, 3. So that's what we're gonna be working with. I think all 3 shades are fine because the green is very different from the green in my other palettes, but we're not getting the green. We're getting the red, which actually, how different is this red from the red? This is what that red shade looks like, but I'm quickly gonna get the red from my Panda palette to see if they're too similar. Maybe I'll be back. Okay, this is the red that I just rolled, and this is the red in my Panda palette. I don't know how similar they look on camera, but this red is way more orangey. It has more of a shimmer to it, whereas this is a bit more matte-ish and more like a pinkish red. I think I'm just gonna say they're different enough. I'm not gonna be wearing red all the time anyway, so I think I can kind of switch between them a little bit to hit pan on that one. Normally I don't need loads of uses to hit pan on anything in here anyway. There is the tiniest bit of a dip in here, so yeah, we're just gonna work with that. Yeah, it is my focus palette, so I'm gonna try and get there at some point. But yeah, then this without this red is the palette that we're working with at the moment. More cool toned on this side, more warm toned on this side, so there's definitely looks that I can do with everything in here. So looking forward to doing that. And yeah, let me guys know if you guys have any ideas on how I could be using these. And that is it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye.